The only absent is member Andrea, and she said she gave us notice she would be on.
Right, thank you very much. Did everybody have a chance to look at the minutes and have any questions?
I move we accept the minutes as presented.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a second?
I second.
Okay, thank you very much. The motion is carried. Would you like to raise your hands to approve? Thank you. Motion carried. Thank you. So, first of all, welcome, and we're glad that you joined us today. Thank you. And so, we'll start out with announcements. Do you have, how about you? Any announcements?
I have an announcement.
I'm sorry.
Go for it. I thought Saturday was fabulous. You guys worked so hard and it turned out just perfect. The agenda was perfect. Sam did a great job. I just went home and I was just beaming. I thought, you know, our little town really can do it.
Yeah.
We're making things happen.
I appreciate
And it's
that.
all because of you.
Well, it's not all of us. It's all of
No,
us.
you really, you're the star of it.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah. Well, it's just kind of my love, and it has been for a long time, but, and of course, we'll talk about, there's things I think that we can maybe change and maybe do some different things, but I was happy with it. I was more happy when it was over than anything, you know, and so.
But people were just genuinely geared up to make it happen. So I think we've got some good energy.
Yeah.
And it's because of you guys.
There's definitely good energy there,
Yeah,
Everybody came with a gentle spirit and ready to learn. And nobody seemed to walk out of there freaked out, which is great. Because
Yeah.
it was, I mean,
Freaked
Jenny's
out.
was always
Yeah.
powerful.
Yeah.
This was, it was factual and Sam checked him several times to be sure nobody was, I mean, it was hard hitting.
Yeah, it was hard city. I told her I'm moving to Florida.
It was hard hitting.
Yeah.
No, it's just that.
I was gonna say, that's a whole other thing it's gonna knock you down.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I thought it was really informative. I always got to really keep learning something.
Well, that's good. The thing I liked is that people were engaged, you know, and let me know when they couldn't hear me, and that was, I appreciated that, and that meant they were listening, which was really good. You know, so that was good. So,
I thought it was a great thing, shows how comfortable people are with the city.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it was like the whole vibe.
Yeah.
It was a Depot Bay vibe.
Yeah.
And everybody was there, just there
Yeah.
to be, it felt like that, didn't it?
I think so. I think so.
Yeah. I don't know that you get that just anywhere else.
And it's nice that we had, do you have anybody from U of Bay there, other than you?
There's two other
It
people.
was wonderful, and then we had, Local Code, I don't know about Stonebridge, because I don't know that their people there, and so that's good, because we're all supporting
Do we
each
bring our
other.
map back?
I gotta find out where we're going to put it. It's here.
What's that, what was the
I thought
question?
the Dutch was looking for the map, right. Yeah, it was
I gave Gordy to take it back. I don't know what he did with it.
What was that?
our
The
map.
map.
Oh,
With all the
We'll have it
dots
for the
on it.
next, because I don't know what he did with it.
And
And he's not here.
We're gonna get about the cards like at some point.
Yeah, Gina's been working on something else for me, so she'll
Yeah,
be
I
part
know
of
today, I have all those cards.
Okay.
I'll put it in a spreadsheet for you.
Oh, I love that.
So
I think
Gina,
I emailed those.
you would meet at Wednesday, our normal time at 10 o'clock, and would you have them ready by then?
Well,
Maybe.
Wednesday I work from home.
I'm sorry?
Wednesday I work from home.
I'll call you then.
You can call me or, we can meet on Tuesday if you like, what, morning?
That would be tomorrow?
Yeah. Mhm.
Tomorrow, what time?
Anytime would be like the morning.
How about,
8:30?
how about,
8:30?
how about 9?
9? Okay.
So that's me.
Are you trying to hit for 8:30? Sound like you were trying to hit for 8:30.
I was like, whatever. Yeah.
Okay. I need to say, I really do appreciate what Gina does for this committee, because it's real helpful for me to have a meeting and have all this stuff that needs to be done, and then I talk to Gina about it, and she pushes a lot of it through, because the thing before, we didn't have that missing link, you know, and it's really nice, and then I'll send her my thoughts about the meeting, and then it goes to Kim, then Kim gives her information about what she thinks, and it's very helpful, so I appreciate that. So, thank you for your comments. And Chris, how about you?
I was so sorry to have missed it and still don't feel that good. So, but I was very impressed walking in. It was so well organized. You know, it was different than how it looked in the past, which is so nice and give people a different perspective. And, you know, you guys were hustling around, getting everything together, and I just was so proud, you know, to see, you know, and you probably know that I'll be leading the committee.
Yeah.
But it's just been an absolute joy. It's been a real pleasure working with this group because I've learned so much, you know. Deb talks about it's a great opportunity to learn and to hopefully help out, you know.
Yeah.
And so that was really nice. But I'll still be around.
Good,
I'll pop in and I'll sit out there around, see how she's doing, huh?
Well, you will be missed, and we appreciate the
Absolutely.
contribution.
But you guys I'm so impressed with city staff and volunteers work so hard. And, you know, I mean, it is noticed.
Well, that's one thing that I mentioned to everybody is that it takes a lot to put on something like this. Starts with the city staff to put up the chairs and the tables, and then they have to take them down, and then people, Kathy and Karen brought containers of drinks. She brought
And hot dogs.
and hot dogs, and Kathy's husband, they made the hot dogs, and I made cookies, and Deb brought granola bars, and it was just a lot of people that really jumped in and did that. So
Worked out great.
I think so. Okay, thank you. So my announcements is that there's 3 of us on the committee that are going to go to the Hatfield Science Center cash display Friday, I think at 3 o'clock. And there's a lot of information about this. And then the lady that I'm working with sent a map as to how to find them. Because the Hatfield Science Center is really, there's a lot of, areas. I didn't realize that.
Yes, it is, it's huge.
Yeah, it's huge, and so she told me how to find her. And what, I got this information from Councilor Rack, who saw it. And I can pass this around, there's just a lot of information
Oh, good.
about, what's there and what they recommend. Yeah, so, we can learn from everybody. We think we understand what you need to have in cash, but maybe we don't, so that should be fun. And I did call and talk to Ready Wise, and left a message for Ready Wise that donated the to-go buckets and stuff, and we bought the food from them, but they did donate those really nice to-go buckets and stuff, so talk to him. What's that, Ken?
The door prizes.
Yeah, door prizes, yeah. And then I sent an email to Steve Card with the Leader newspaper, because we had an article in the paper, I don't know if you saw it, was small, but that's okay. And I thanked him for that. And then I haven't talked to Samantha yet, but I'm going to do that. And I left a message for Lexi Howell, who came with the sanitation. And her dad was the gentleman that accompanied her, I didn't realize that. And I really liked their
She was great.
and it was good, and she says, "We know who you are." We know
I thought that was,
who you
I
are."
thought that was.
I thought that was really cute, yeah, so.
We peek in your garbage.
I know, yeah. So anyway, just want to make sure that everybody was thanked for everything that we did.
Here's some cards if you guys wanna pass around and sign, and then we can have Gina mail them out too.
Oh,
I think it's for you, right? So Ready Wise, Lexi, Sam,
Nice.
Okay, that sounds
and who
good.
else?
So if we go to, I think that's it, Lincoln Sanitation, Samantha,
Lexi.
Ready Wise, I think that's it, pretty much. Thank you. So, listen,
You sent me an email on it too.
I'm sorry?
You sent me an email on one today.
She's just trying to think of somebody else to thank.
You said, I thought you said there was another person you asked if we thanked.
Well, Steve Card, and then Lexi, and then Samantha.
Oh, you mentioned Mom French, that's who you mentioned, but that's her
Yeah,
father,
that's her
so
father.
we'll just thank North Lincoln.
That sounds good, yeah.
Sam, okay, that should be good.
Okay, that's good. So, so let's talk about, the event, and, we talked about it a little bit, but, Kathy, what specifically went well?
Everything, the whole thing, I like the timing, was unfortunate that our representative, was, late in showing up. But I would like to maybe include him next year early, because he actually lived through the wildfire notice and has just a real good brief, get ready.
Now, I represented.
David Gomberg was
Yeah,
there,
I agree.
Yeah. and so
I
I would,
didn't realize that.
yeah, I invited he and Senator Anderson and.
You're in his newsletter,
Oh, no,
the
really?
one that just came out,
Oh, is
yeah.
that right?
Yeah, just
What
took
are
a
you talking
picture.
about? What do you
A
say about
picture.
her?
Oh, yeah, it was really long, David, but very informative.
It's wonderful.
He
Okay,
was
cool.
super complimentary, I spent some time with him, he was super complimentary.
Yeah,
Super, and loved the map, he was like, oh,
that's, I
highlight
didn't
part of
realize
this map
that.
and it's just because it engaged people, and then people stood and looked at it and what they wrote, and let's go here, and all that, he loved that visual.
Yeah.
Whenever people were going around,
Yeah.
we wanna know how to do that, how to make that happen for
Yeah,
everyone.
yeah, I thought it was a great idea. I
Yeah.
really did. But I think that people understood the islands, and what we're
Yes,
trying to do.
absolutely, that was explained so well, and now those people will explain it now,
I
I mean,
agree with
it's
it.
fun, it's gonna grow first, they don't think it's something that we came up with, just because of the. Right, so, yeah. I
That's
really
great.
think that-
Thank you. So my thoughts, is to, we didn't have as many people as we did when we did it in January 23. And one thing that concerned me just a little bit is that, my neighbor Joan, who's my bird watcher and good friend, very supportive of me, Dennis says, "Oh, are you going to the event?" And she said, "Is it the same thing as the last time?" And Dennis says, "I don't know." So I'm wondering what we need to do differently to maybe spark it a little bit, because I think if people think, "Oh, I've already heard that, do I need to go again?" I don't know. I don't know why she said that, I haven't talked to her.
I was thinking the same thing,
Mhm.
about how do we change it up a little bit, and I think if we maybe switch back to wildfires, maybe in January, and by then we'll have our evacuation routes.
Yes,
In place, and I think, and hopefully, and one of the things I'm gonna propose today is hopefully by then we will have our neighbors have met in all of their islands.
Mhm.
And I've got a proposal of how to maybe start doing that.
Mhm.
And so we can just keep updating people. The things are working, we'll have more information on our caches, we didn't really share much about that. So we'll have more information on where we're at and maybe, start having them bring things, like I have a bag full of my travel soaps and shampoos and all of that.
Mhm.
And we could start putting those in our
Mhm.
caches, so get them involved, get people
Yeah,
excited to stuff a cache.
I think that's a really good idea, because
Stuff a cash, I love it, stuff a cash.
Yeah.
I like that. I learned it.
So remember, we discussed this, though, and we ended up not having an event because we were worried about having to police what people bring.
Right. You're gonna get a bunch of stuff that you're gonna end up having to dump,
Yes.
and that we want, so whatever we accept, we would wanna be sure that, so we don't need we don't need their 3 discarded blankets, because what we want them to do is to put that in a bin in their garage, so that they're ready for them and their neighbors.
Yeah.
So be specific with what we want,
Exactly.
what we, our stuff a cash things would be specific requests, wouldn't be just accepting everybody's.
No garbage.
that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah,
We don't want garbage.
yes,
Take garbage to Goodwill.
right,
That's right.
exactly.
And so today, Kathy and Dennis and I took all the food from the bus barn and put it in the other cache we have here.
So.
And took some pictures of it, so we'll hopefully get that on social media. And just to say, we are really actually, working. And of course, all I mentioned was, sleeping bags and tents and things like that, just some basic supplies.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Very neat.
We've got 9,000.
Did you say that the new website rolls out at the first of the year?
Well, I wanted to, no, let me rephrase that. There's, the website's there, but I'm working on the emergency preparedness page.
Right.
But the updates that I wanna make to the entire site, which will give us more about that is, they won't let me mess with that until January.
So then to time with that might be to roll out, so it's not, it's what's new and what's new.
Yeah.
And then it's the website could be rolled out and then all of that could happen, whatever you think is ready in January.
Well, I had a couple people ask me, say, well, it would be really nice if there was a place on the website where you could find emergency preparedness stuff. And I said, there is. There already is, but I said, we're working on it. And so what I thought I would do is once I get a little more content on there, I took notes from the event to post like an article, if you will, with, pictures that I took and things like that, and say, hey, this is what we did and talked about. And then what we could do is, I thought about posting out, hey, did you know that Depoe has an emergency preparedness site? Here's where you go, keep watching for the most current information, stuff like that.
That's good.
And Sam, as soon as I get the Everbridge stuff, we're definitely pushing that.
Right. So see, there's gonna be a lot of new information.
Well, and then we should have information on our grants,
By the end of this month, I hope,
Yeah.
if we get the good
So
word.
if we have grants in process
Yeah,
and all.
Well, you guys heard you got your grant, right?
Yeah, we did.
I heard about it, because I attended the VOC meeting, but I waited.
Ah.
Never announced it to you guys.
Yeah, that was really fun.
We need to cover this, what did you do with your last 6 months? And then there'd be all this stuff that happened.
Yeah, right, yeah.
So
Here's what your city did,
Yeah.
website,
I know, exactly, and Kim gave me a couple of cities to look at, I think Ridgeway, Colorado.
Okay.
Lethbridge,
Is it what is
yeah, I would look at Lethbridge, Cannon Beach, Seaside,
Seaside's supposed to have a really good one.
they have an awesome one.
Yeah.
But they also have full-time emergency teams.
That's right, absolutely. So anyway, that's a work in progress, that's for sure.
Great.
So, some things I thought of, invite celebrities, politicians. because
I know that,
I didn't realize that.
I invited the fire department, the Coast Guard, I invited all of those people.
Yeah,
But it was kind of late, I was late in doing that, so
okay.
we'll get on that, as soon as we get Samantha, booked, I will.
Now, Samantha wants to do a different workshop.
I
What
think
she
she
wants
should.
to do is on hazard one.
Yeah,
That's fine.
And I told her that would be amazing, because I'm with her. We spend so much time focused on Cascadia, we forget that there's a lot of little hazards that we have to watch for. So that is her goal.
Okay.
So now we
So if you guys are interested, maybe email her and kind of keep her and say, maybe we can do another one, maybe pick a date next year to do another one, if
Yeah,
they're
I'll-
going on it.
I'll be happy to talk to her about it,
Yeah.
because I need to call her anyway to thank her. So that's what I'm saying, I don't want people to think, well, I've already heard this, but, so that.
Well, I think that the answer to that question, first of all, your husband should know the answer.
What,
Your husband should have known the answer,
for what?
whether or not it's the same as last time.
That's right.
Because that would have been something you would have wanted to tell them. But
Yeah.
the second follow-up is that, was it the same presentation? Yes.
I don't think.
Was it different in ways? Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
It should, they were listening to a lot of the same stuff, but the way Sam did it was so much more positive
Yeah.
than the way Jenny did it. Jenny threw a lot of things at you, but
I didn't sleep for a
Sam,
week after listening to Jenny.
Sam was throwing things at us, but it was her lighthearted approach, and she told me she didn't want to be dark and gloomy.
That's good.
So,
It
I
was
think that resonated with people, which is why I told her I think she did a really good job. Maybe when you're getting feedback, you can see what Ann thought too. So she's here with us.
What Dennis actually didn't go to the first one, so I'll
Oh,
make an excuse for
you'll
him.
have to educate your spouses.
I know.
But I think that I will also help Sam, because she didn't know Jenny didn't know.
Mhm.
So, so a lot of things that she's doing is on the seat of her pants, by the seat of her pants too.
Mhm.
So I told her that I would help her be more engaged with helping her promote things, because I know what Sam did, or Jen did, so, but Sam, she's still getting up to speed.
And one thing we may consider, we had such good luck with those signs, those, for the 50th. We may consider doing something like that.
You can definitely do that. I mean, do we know that the signs, I know were they instrumental in bringing people? I don't know, but the answer to the question is it the same presentation is what we would want to answer next time.
Well, no.
So on the social media, we would say, this is not a Cascadia presentation, this is wildfires.
Yeah.
But remember, our wildfire presentation did not go well.
Because that was in January, or June again.
June, and that was
So
in
we need to schedule in January.
I agree with you.
I agree.
That's fine, but the June was right before wildfire season. That should have made a big difference to people, that it was right before wildfire season. You just don't know.
Right.
You don't, you just put an event on and you prep. So, but if you do a wildfire line, doing it in January, you're doing it 4 months ahead of the season, they're not really gonna think about it.
But it wouldn't be the whole thing, the hazard
Just
thing.
be some-
That whole hazard thing, I think is great.
Yeah.
I told her, let me know how I can help, because that would be awesome.
Well, it was interesting when the garbage people talked about hazards. I mean, that was
Yeah.
just a little bit, but that was very, very informative and interesting. So, I think that, we had beautiful weather. I think people I'd rather go hiking than go to this meeting.
Could be.
In January, I think
They
it's.
were out on boats.
Yeah, I think I think we'd have bad luck in the winter. But of course, we have to worry if it's gonna be raining. But, I thought also, because we've done now 2 daytime things, should we have a spaghetti dinner and invite people to come in the evening? Would that be something that we could consider? Y'all like that idea? Just something, I'm just.
Food is, I can't talk to him because, that's just a.
Yeah, you're
The
doing
food-
it,
the
you're
food
doing
is a
it,
draw.
sit down,
But that's just me.
that makes it a little more
I'm
challenging.
just trying to think of ways to bring people out.
Sure.
So then, is that we've done this twice, and so to change it up, should we maybe have an evening event?
No, I think that Saturday,
Okay,
10 to 2, or 10 to 1.
okay,
And I think it worked great having the hot dogs as a little
okay,
break, and maybe we'll throw in hamburgers next year.
yeah, that would be good. That would be good.
As something a little extra. And-
So, do we need, to think of a theme? I don't think we should do a marathon, because there's not enough young people to do a marathon. And you had talked at one time about maybe a treasure hunt, having things around town to like entice people to come to this meeting.
I was talking about something more general, not associated
Okay.
with the presentation.
Okay.
I mean, I couldn't think of what, I honestly can't think of what we would do for treasure hunt to entice people to come to the event. Yeah, treasure hunt for other things in the city, I'm actually working with Depoe on an idea to help businesses.
Okay, well, I'm just trying to think of new
Right,
things.
a hook.
I
I'm
think
looking for a hook.
I think the hook is the presentation
Yeah.
and how it's marketed.
And our prizes, people really enjoy it.
Boy, they
those
love
prizes. So I think if we played that up next year,
Yeah, we had good prices.
we had.
And maybe
fabulous-
work with some of the businesses, because I do like it when, like the gun shop up there, I know it's electronic, they have all kinds of survival stuff, I think people do like to see that.
Yeah.
Because it, gets them kind of motivated to get their back together and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
could maybe give away their door prizes.
Yeah.
Give away radios.
Yeah, we
We
did.
did, there was a lot.
Oh,
See, it was
okay.
given away or?
No.
Give away good stuff.
Oh, there was, there were, I had no idea. I mean, I've been giving away about funds and.
I've been shopping for months now, every time I see something.
It was amazing how much stuff was there. I couldn't believe it.
And it was great, it was really good, and that was fun, everybody liked
a lot.
that, I liked that a lot.
Yeah.
And it was funny, because there's one section that pretty much go over prices, did you notice that?
Yeah.
It was kind of fun.
Right.
Yeah, just
That was
never know.
cute.
But I think, we just need to have the article in the paper again and maybe ads, a small ad to promote it. We'll see.
Yeah,
You guys seem to do
but-
it mailing, that'll be a big thing, I think that was a big part of why it wasn't so easy.
and bring a microphone next time,
Yeah, Joyce.
I know, sorry, I don't know that I don't.
You didn't need a mic if you wandered down the aisle, but I couldn't even get you to do that.
I
She just stayed put.
I was trying to read my notes to make sure that I was gonna do everything,
I was like, walk down the aisle.
So, but if we got a microphone, that would be good. Casey said that he has a karaoke machine.
Yeah,
And
we'll
then
probably
you
use this
bring
karaoke
And I
machine.
says, what if I start singing? That's,
They'll join you.
I guess
Yeah.
so, okay. All right, so that's good. So, overall success, very happy about that.
Maybe get some feedback from Ann.
I'm sorry,
Feedback from Ann.
and you have
I
feedback?
do. Thank you for asking.
Uh-huh.
There were 6 of us from Little Well Cove who attended. 3 of us had been to the Jenny Madaris, and
Uh-huh.
I thought she was fabulous. Samantha obviously brings a whole different energy and vibe to it, and I thought she was equally good. But pretty much for people who had attended before, they thought it was a little, they'd done it before, they weren't sure why they were there.
Mhm.
For people who had not attended the previous one, they're like, wow, this is really fabulous. The door prizes were amazing, and as we fought for that.
Yeah.
Everybody loves a really legitimate door prize. I
Right.
think that's great. And then the one question we had, because a couple of the guys were there to look at the communications trailer, and it was not staffed. Was that?
You guys, I can say, I found out what happened. They'd already had something booked that day because they didn't receive notice in enough time.
Oh, okay.
So they'd already some book, but they were still gonna try to make it work. At the last minute, they realized they could not make it work. But they were there the first time, and if we can make sure that they get those early next time, they'll be there.
Yeah.
But that's what happened.
That's a big.
But we didn't have anybody else, and see, that's a deficit the city needs to address. We had nobody else that could talk about that communication trailer except for Brady, and Brady was not recovered.
Okay.
Any other thoughts?
Yeah, I thought it was great.
Thank you
You
very
did a
much.
super job. And your enthusiasm alone is very engaging and important. You clearly believed in what you were doing, and we were very happy about it.
Thank you. Well, I was really happy because at the other meeting, we didn't, I don't think the emergency preparedness committee was really all that strong at that time, and we weren't, I don't think we were introduced. And this time, I really appreciated the fact that I could say this is how we have evolved and how we've strengthened and what we're doing. And, we talked about, of course, the islands and the little dots and things like that.
Yeah.
Because I don't know that people would have an idea that we have to go to the budget committee, it just doesn't appear. We have to get approval, and we have to think about what we want to buy and, strategically plan on that. So I was really happy that we were able to do that. So that's good. Okay. Thank you. So next on our agenda would be to look at the cash supplies that we created. Did people remember to bring your cash supplies?
Before you get talking about cash supplies,
I'm sorry,
you have no money you spent on them.
I don't mean for my.
No, I'm just saying, I want you to know, you guys got it all set.
But
Have a little bit
it's
left.
the middle of June and we don't have to pay for it till July, so
Well, it depends, depends.
we're not gonna.
And we
need-
don't have the July, the 24, 25 budget approved yet.
I know, but.
So you don't get to spend any money until we get it approved. So be thinking of that because the council hasn't approved the budget yet,
That's right.
so it's not appropriate.
We can talk about what we need.
You can absolutely talk about what you need, because you have 75,000 in there for just the budget, and then we put 100,000 in for the property, the bowling property.
Wonderful.
That came out of the last budget committee meeting.
That's wonderful, fabulous.
Plus 25,000 in transient room tax to put together a brochure for the evacuation for all the hotels. And I talked to Nicole, and she's gonna, her and I are gonna get together, and she's gonna rough out a brochure.
Wonderful.
So why don't you, since you mentioned it, just explain, what you're putting into place and why you need it to everybody.
What?
What we're trying to do is to make sure that the Walmarts of the world and hotels.
This is what you guys want. You
Well,
guys are
no.
really focused on what you want to communicate with Walmart. Well, I came up during one of the council meetings, they said, can't we force them to do stuff? Like one counselor had said, can we put a go bag in every hotel room? That is a terrible idea simply from the standpoint, those go bags will develop feet and they will walk. Because who's gonna inventory, who's gonna make sure there's a go bag? Are we gonna replace a go bag? So we're trying to think of something that we need to do, that we can do to communicate. Two parts to this. One, we're gonna put an ordinance into place that says, like Lincoln City, that says they have to have this, and this, evacuation plan, they have to post this, they have to do this.
The
These
facility
things,
does.
the facility, each and every facility, got it.
Mhm.
Then the second part is let's help them out by putting together some money in transient room, we have a lot of spending in there, to say, okay, let's put together the flyer, the brochure, the pamphlet, whatever we wanna call it, that we want them to make sure that every hotel room has, and that they keep on site. So we got money in the budget to do that, and 25,000 is more than enough to put together this thing, so with whatever's left over, do you have another idea for what you guys want for tourism related things, we'll have play there. So essentially you have 100,000 and 100,000. We have 200,000 that will be going to emergency preparedness should it get approved.
And that's always something we have to make sure that
Yes.
people know that it's not automatic, we always have to do that.
Now, could that money go to, no, because we brought up the satellite phone on more than one occasion, could that actually got brought up on Saturday, so could any of that money go towards the city having a satellite phone?
You guys will have 75,000 to spend. What you do with it will be up to you.
So that may be, because I know that's been on your
Yeah.
wish list.
I've been looking at a Cal on Wheels. Remember when they talked about, not Cal on Wheels, Cell on Wheels, called Cal, remember she talked about that? I'm being told by some experts in my city, I don't know if they're experts, but they're telling me that we couldn't get one tall enough. Because the one at Cape Foulweather is tall, so we couldn't get one tall enough to be able to do that. So, but yeah, that 75,000, you guys just do what you want with it. That's what it's, would be.
I'm pro that because of what it needs.
Thought about that one.
It's at the top of my list.
Oh, hugely on mine too.
Yeah.
But somebody said, and I don't remember who said it, but all you have to do is go online and search for satellite communication backpacking. And there's all kinds of radios, phones, everything you can get where you can connect to keep people informed.
It is, right. It is daunting, I actually researched it for the other day. And so we are stagnated here because it is just hard to decide what provider to go with and then how you pay for this thing. So as you look into that, I'm happy to share what little I've done.
Oh, okay.
Trying to decide, it's hard. It's
Yeah.
hard to decide how to do it, but it's what gets brought up in public arenas. And the public is all around, is they're wondering, how are we communicating now? That is what the public brings up, and so it seems to be nice if somebody could say,
Yeah.
yeah, we've got one in the
It's like
city, or we have
July
access to one, or
purchase
but
list.
that actually checks that box for people.
Yeah,
Oh, so there is
yeah.
a satellite phone here.
Yeah,
I mean,
because-
and then people just leave it alone, I mean, people don't know what's involved with it, actually.
Exactly, I don't either.
Yeah, it's really, and the whole Starlink thing is a whole other thing, I mean, that's another thing. So, it's, as we look into it, we just have to pull it.
We have to figure it out, you know.
But
But I think that would make our city happy.
I think that the public think that that's the thing, so that we check off the box.
Because the radios are great, but they just do so much.
Well, we happen to know how much they're gonna do, but they're not thinking
I know.
that way, they're thinking, you know.
Well, I've heard
how
that.
it, it's great to be able to, talk out there, but we really have to be able to talk to each other, and they're not, we figured that out, so that's.
Exactly. I appreciate your phone tree presentation.
Oh, that's great, good.
Yeah, that was
No, it's fun, I'm happy to put that out there about community mapping and how to do that. It's good.
Right. So anyway, we looked at this, and I don't know if now's the time to talk about it, but if you do have your updated thing that we got at the last meeting, I don't know if I brought this with you, but I updated some information. Well, we first of all worked on this like March of '23, March and April, and we all looked at different sections of different supplies that we needed. In January, I just updated the pricing, so we looked at tents, well, we've got tents pretty much, that's good. I think that we would probably go back to the same source to get more tents, I would think, Kathy.
Yeah.
And then.
Well, we gotta shop around, and, the Big Five Sports was really good, but, we can go to like Weimar and, in different areas and and when we get another cache that we're looking at outfitting, I think what we need to do is finish outfitting these two that we have out here. We need tarps, we need blankets, we need another medical supply for them. And we still need to get, I want toilet paper, I'm sorry, ladies, but I have to have toilet paper.
And diapers.
I don't wear diapers.
Well, you speak for yourself, Kathy, I'm 4 years older than you. But, you know, just, and you said bicycle pump, and that would be for air mattresses.
For our air mattresses, yeah, we need to get those.
Okay. And so I agree with you, I think that we should probably look at other sources and what have you.
Let's finish these off, and get a list and get that finished. That way we can, when we know that we've got $2,500 coming. So if the fellows go out shopping again, or this and find another cash, then we can start all over.
Exactly. But, we've already researched a little bit, so I think we have a good idea about what to look for. And, anyway, that's something that we should continue to look at. So, Deb in particular was interested in talking about the evacuation presentation by the University of Oregon. And, just, if you look in your packet, I have notes from, when they came the last time. I just wrote a synopsis because not everybody was able to be here. And in here, of course, they talked about the assembly points, the same thing that we've heard. And they said that they were going to keep working on evacuation out of here, which way to go, I think mainly east, and that they were going to be working with Lynn County on that as well. And then we were supposed to have another meeting, I think on Zoom, that they sent an email that was not necessary because they had gathered enough
No, we had the
information.
second meeting.
We have second
We
meeting.
had 2 meetings, but there wasn't gonna be a third one.
That's right, because they scheduled a Zoom meeting and then.
No, they didn't schedule a
I
Zoom.
thought they did.
No, they said at that meeting we had here that they weren't going to do it.
Okay,
They didn't need to
okay.
do it.
So, Deb, did you have any comments about that?
I wasn't at the second meeting, I was sad about that, so I communicated with Clarissa, so she sent me her presentation, so I had. So that meant I had lots of time to look at all of it, and then, I showed it to View the Bay homeworkers that were interested in giving any input, and I put together their input, and then I sent that off to Clarissa, because phase 3 is the, getting information out there. It was her response that, I wanted to be sure that and I'm happy to share this, so Kim, tell me if you want me to send it to everybody. I didn't, because I wanted to. So in her presentation, slide 25, and I just know it's that slide, it's the slide that has the evacuation route showing. So it's the royal blue line, and it goes from Depoe Bay to Sletts, it's 16.1 miles. So I asked for clarification on that. I asked for, tell me about this, where is this? And so here's what she wrote. The roads that we have identified are currently private and locked. We all knew this. I believe they are Forest Roads 2600, 2610. They originate from behind Stonebridge. As far as we could tell, they were gravel. And here's the part why I asked. As soon as I got this, I asked Joyce, could she put it on? The city would need to develop a partnership with the road owners and create a plan to harden them. This hardening process would probably include evaluating them with a technical expert and creating a plan to fix any culverts, harden potential landslides, clear trees close to the end of the road, etc. The city would also need to develop a maintenance plan and schedule to upkeep them.
They talked about it.
Okay,
This isn't new.
that's hundreds of millions.
Oh, yeah, there's no way. This is why they're saying that they can throw HR day 1 into anything, and we're not gonna do that.
So I actually asked Sam on Saturday, I said, I'm excited that they're looking at an evacuation. I'm excited that people are concerned about Depoe Bay. And so I view the big people win, and then we have input, we go back and forth, and if it gets down to the plan is flying dragons, then I didn't need to be a part of this whole, I mean, I wanted to know, is there something that, are they gonna offer us something that we can actually work on? I mean, that's
Glad
huge.
you asked that.
Do you, pardon me?
I'm glad you asked that.
Okay, that's, so do you understand, okay, good, so that's why I brought it up here, like, it's like, wow, I appreciate that information, but none of that is City of Depot Bay, most of it, that's all private land.
There wasn't someone go out there gonna check it out, we had a couple guys volunteering to go to see what kind of condition the road is. I mean, we can't do everything that letter's explaining, but
16.1 miles,
Yeah.
This is massive.
yeah, it is.
So, go ahead, so I'm like,
So she's gonna send me the rough draft, but I've already reviewed one of their drafts. And I expressed some concerns about it, but here's the thing with consultants. Depending on what you're doing and what your ask is, you're only gonna get what they think is like the best thing, whether or not it actually
so in
works.
the best case scenario, we would.
What's gonna happen
Right.
is that we're gonna create something that works a little better for us when we start working on our EOP and COOP, when we need to create something that works for Depot Bay. Despite all the information that we gave them, what I read was, that, in fact, I pushed back on some of these and said, this is not a city responsibility, because they're like putting down who will own it. They're not, this is not a city responsibility, we don't have to, and it's all about their great ideas, but what they didn't think about is time, effort, and funding to do it.
Okay.
Where they think that we're gonna be able to come up with money, and for a lot of things we will be able to, no, absolutely we'll be able to. But they were, in some cases, way too pie in the sky, and I told them that, I said, this is too much.
Okay, good.
And I even told Sam, like, even for her, one of the things they talked about in the report was capacity of the capacity. And their ideas to resolve the capacity issue was making more work on Lincoln County emergency management, was just after 2. So I pushed back and I said, how is that improving capacity? So I'll be interested to see if they considered anything that I put in there, so. But the plan right now is they're gonna send me a draft, I'm gonna look at it real quick to see if I have a lot of feedback. If I have a lot of feedback, they want me to do it, send it in, and then they'll send out a draft. And then I'll push it out to the group. Push it out to emergency preparedness group, I'll probably push it out to some of the groups that are there. I'm not gonna push it out to the entire city, we don't have time for that. Because they're supposed to finish by the end of June with us.
Okay.
So, but I'll push it out to many people, certainly those who participated, but I won't be able to take tons of feedback. Tell your folks, I'm gonna give it to you, but you're can't pick it apart.
Right. So what
Look for the high reaching, the high issues, the high concerns, don't pick it apart.
What was interesting, I was heartened because here, I'm looking at it, so I'm sharing it with neighbors, and I was able to judge off my TV, so we're all gathered, we're all looking at that. And what I was heartened was, nobody sat there and said, oh, when is the city gonna do that? Because I'm just kind of trying to feel for what's happening here. But I go, wow, well, there's no money for that, and then somebody's like, that's $100 million plan, and so then they try it. And so, stuff that was said around there was, okay, well, so if that's 16.1 miles, it's very interesting. So we should probably walk it, and if we could walk it, maybe we should stash water along the way. I mean, make it like that so that, I mean, they were just saying, if this is the way out, then we're all walking out, maybe we could maintain it in that kind of way.
Well, they did say that, they did say they'd have caches along, but that I
Did they?
Yes,
Let's check it out, I mean, it could be a mess.
It's a
It
mess.
could be trees everywhere, you're not going anywhere, or it could be somewhat maintained.
I don't
No,
think we're going
it is not.
anywhere. I think in the event of emergency, we're sheltering.
And so then that's exactly what the evolution of the conversation was, is that I think what this is just really validating is that we're on our own and it's right here. It's right here and now. And if some folk want to try to get out that way, then there is the 16.1 miles, and it's gonna be hard to go, and we'll try to communicate with you with whatever. I mean, but that's how our meeting ended was, okay, well then, we really do need to be ready. We're not walking out here. And then that was, to me, that was information. That it's like, because there is no preparation.
Our city needs to be prepared to shelter in place.
It's exactly.
I fully believe that.
But you're not gonna be able, and it's only gonna be, helicopter or water.
Yeah. And that's gonna take a while anyway.
And that's gonna take a while.
So everything's gonna take a while,
That's right.
you know, so.
But anyway, so that's why I wanted to
Yes,
discuss
I
it.
hear ya.
Cause I wasn't, but I'm like, you know, I mean, I could come up with lots of plans, I could save the world right this now, if I, you know, there were magic crayons, but I could do it.
They aren't gonna jet that.
Exactly.
That's really the danger of some of these studies and these consultant plans, and Sam told me that was Jenny's thing, you know, it wasn't really her thing, she didn't really wanna focus on that.
Got
She said, you know, but she thinks there's other things that, and she, I think, believes sheltering in place is probably where we're gonna be in a lot.
But, so that's good, I'm so glad, I mean, when I looked at that, I thought I was going to see something we'll be able to do.
Practical steps we could do.
And it's not a practice, it's not.
I hoped for that too, I always get my heart busted by consultants,
Okay, good.
not
Okay.
always,
And
but
so
a lot of times.
that's why I wanted to talk about, because I didn't know if I didn't know if I was feeling like, what am I not getting here?
Nope,
No,
you were not.
We're all on the same page, that's why we're pushing, 2 weeks ready to
That's
do it.
Okay,
so
so good,
I'm,
and so then that's what Sam told me on Saturday, she goes, and so then that's the information, so you can now say sentences like that when this consultant firm proposed $100 million+ project for an evacuation route, that's why we need your little grant to help us to shelter in place. I mean, she said, use it to your advantage, that there really wasn't anything more practical.
Yeah, she was not very
Yeah, that's what
positive about it.
that's what I got from her too. Okay, good, well, that's why I wanted to.
Yeah, I have a question. What were the numbers of the forest roads?
Say again?
The numbers on forest roads that you rattled off.
Oh, sure,
wait, 26.
2600 and 2610.
Okay. Got it.
Sure.
Well, you talked about great things that we could be doing, we need celebrities, we can invite Elon Musk to come and talk about satellite phones, you know, I mean, you know, shoot for the moon, right?
Right.
Uh,
You're gonna be paying for that moon too.
I know. Just
It won't come cheap.
sorry, let me just get this out of the way.
But you know, it's nice to know that we're that grounded.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I mean, really.
Well, I was very, very happy, these are paintings and stuff. I was very, very happy because Kim told me about the Northridge group that got together. Not everybody, but some of them got together and says, let's just practice. And that's what I mentioned in the talk that I gave. Let's just practice about what happens if we have to go to our refrigerator and our freezer and pull out meat. And then, gee, what else do we need? What do we think about? And, you know, self-awareness is key to all of this. You know, you just have to make sure that, you know, that you prepare for your own family yourself. That's good. All right. Well, thank you for bringing that up. I bet that was a bolt of lightning for you, wasn't it?
We've known that all along, but
I
we're
know.
sticking right
I know.
here. I mean, it's nice to have a little map, but it's not real.
And you will have people who will go,
And absolutely.
but I don't plan on it. Unless there's a reason for me to go, I'm staying home. I'm staying in Depoe Bay, there's no reason for me to pack up and leave unless my house moves into something, I don't know.
I have heard that say that Celeste doesn't want us, you know, Corvallis doesn't want us, you know, they've got their own problems.
Yes.
As far as that goes, but don't worry about, you know, if really enjoy, I guess a few people will try to walk it out. But you've got cougars out there, you've got wildlife, you have, you know, it's not
How much is
practical.
free the,
I was gonna say, and loading guns.
I was gonna say, I think it's
Yeah,
probably.
money and property.
Yeah.
That's exactly
Where a
right.
sniper
That
was.
too.
The land between, exactly, that's what somebody in the group that was, I was trying in my living room, and then this guy in front of me goes, I hunt right now at home.
I know.
Really? That's that land?
I know.
I mean, I've been thinking about what happened during the ice storm. What did they do with the main highways out of the coast? They closed them.
They had to.
Yeah.
Exactly, they closed them for freaking repairs and ice. They closed them. that should be proof positive we're sheltering in place.
Well, not only
They
that,
closed the roads and these were not even, like, could you have gotten on? Sure, some people could, but they let anybody go on.
well, they had helicopters that came in to fix the
I know,
equipment.
but they closed the entire road for that. They removed our access out of the area, our flight out of the area.
And that was an important lesson for everybody.
Was to
Realize
me,
that.
same place.
Okay. New business, we do have a committee vacancy. Once again, Chris, we're gonna miss you.
I will miss you too, but I get very excited when I hear about plans for the future.
I know.
So I just made a note that I'm gonna call you, Ken, and find other ways to help.
Okay.
That sounds good. Alrighty, and so is there anything else before we go into ending this meeting, anybody would like to talk about as far as?
I'd really like to get started on our islands and getting the phone trees going. And I'd like to really concentrate in our neighborhood right where we're at as a starter point and try and get a meeting set up, probably starting maybe in September, an evening meeting down at the community center, and start getting people talking and inspired to get these phone trees going, because I think that's
Yeah.
critical.
I'm really excited about the cards to see if people participated, filling them out and opted in to try to find out. So that's good. Public comments? You're the public, I guess, right now.
Is this the end of the meeting?
Yes.
I'll
Okay.
just,
All right, Little Rock Cove is very interested in your plans for us, how we figure into them, what we should know, how we might respond, how we could be part of whatever your plans are. How will that develop?
We do not have any specific plans for the local.
But what would you like to see happen from your perspective?
I think that for our perspective,
We've been learning from you guys,
I know.
so
I know.
that's, we've been just,
well, I think from our perspective, is communication and participation to what you can, and realizing that if there is an event and the south is isolated from the north, and you guys have your own supplies and your own things, are you willing to open up if you need to?
Right.
That is all we need, is that everybody needs to say, Stonebridge, U of A, everybody would need to say, we got cash there, and it's our cash. Are you willing to open it up and share? I mean, that's important for us to know, because it lets us know what our resources are.
Right.
And that's all it's about, but we're not gonna interfere with what you do.
Well, the corollary, of course, to what you're saying, Ken, makes perfect sense. And that would be, we're not gonna turn people away if they are in need. We have very limited resources at this point. It would only be if that grant comes through that we would have much to offer anyone after day two.
Sure.
But, if we were interested in being a cash for the city, would we receive that box and those supplies so we would have things to give to others? Like, we're working really hard to get our people to be self-reliant, but we'll never get above maybe 40%,
I know.
maybe 40%. So we'll have our own issues, but we're not gonna turn people away if we have supplies. So how does that work? Like, your interest is, will we help people? Yes, we will help people, but then will you provide some of the supplies for those people?
Do you have a cash? Do you guys have a cash now?
Oh, we have an area,
Okay,
Where
so
is
it's not real cash, right?
it's not a Connex.
Okay, so let's say that they're gonna do that resiliency hubs and networks grant again. This would be something we could certainly apply for another package, if you will. And I would think the answer would be, if you're willing and you got a spot, do you want to do what Stonebridge is doing, is saying, set yourself up there? Or would you wanna lease it to the city? I mean, it would be really, do you have a spot? And for you, what would that look like? It would mean that we would say, okay, it's the city cash, we'll provide stuff, but you have to make sure that you realize this will have to be open to the public.
Right.
Not unless there's an emergency, which I hope.
Right.
I hope I'm gone before there is one where we need to bust open the caches, but yeah, I mean, I think that the city can absolutely work with you on that, like we're doing with Stonebridge, like maybe we're gonna do a View of the Bay. It's definitely options, I mean, the more we get, and if you guys, if there isn't one, we need to get one over there, right? It's pretty important.
Right, we do.
Yeah, we've used terms like possible aid caches, we've used terms like we would roll them out every year. And then how they roll out and where has to deal with where we can put one. And
Exactly.
so if Stonebridge offered, right, they were the first one to say, you know, we've got land here to add, we were like so excited to see finally. So as areas get realized
And now
that this
View of
is-
the Bay is thinking
yeah,
about
we've
it.
got an area, but that's kind of like, there's, the city engineer's gonna come look at our spot on Friday. Just because the community realized, oh, well, we're not doing anything with this piece of land, and if the city's really looking for places, then, well, we should offer this up. And so that's, and if that's what Little Well Cove says, excellent, and that's how the city looks at that, then great, because the long range plan is for areas to be as self-sufficient as possible. So we're trying to put caches in those areas whenever we have a spot. It's all about having a spot. And so,
And we did have no spots in your area right now, because if you look at the map, you know, we had the quantities the other day,
yeah,
there's really just
the
nothing.
city doesn't own it in that area. So it would be something that Little Well Cove would want, has an area that they'd be able to offer up, just like Stonebridge did and what the Bay's trying to do. And then what we're hoping we get from Depoe Hills, I mean, it's that kind of thing, that when you have a community, you would want them to have that as part of their thought. Besides having their own caches, well, they'll have our own, but we also want to have a spot for the city to have theirs. But the idea that, the way we talked about it at our HOA meeting, is okay, so we're preparing for ourselves best we can, but we're right here on the evacuation route. Well, isn't there a place we could actually put? Okay, and that's how it all evolved, like, well, we should be much more proactive, being able to handle everybody coming up columns, and that's how the conversation happened.
Yeah, because we can't, individual prepared preppers, we're gonna start talking like prepper, individual people who prepare can't prepare for everything.
Right.
So they're gonna need support.
Right.
And then there's people like that live with their head in the sand and they're gonna need support, you know? And then, you know, but the idea is that if the cache is in your neighborhood, you guys will have, you know, you will have access to it when you need, you know, to prevent an emergency. But it's also like, if we're separated and there's only two caches on this side of the town, this will be the primary one, but you might be a backup.
Right.
So that's all.
Okay, so I think it really just depends on your vision as to what you see. You know, we're trying to have strategic islands, as we've talked about. It depends on what you think your community would like to do. And
Do you
just-
have any land that you know of available?
Land,
Yeah.
well, there's always land. But, you know, we live in a HOA community, you know how some of these people can be,
Yeah,
they're very territorial.
I know.
So that's why before I say anything more, I'm gonna get, as I already have, the board involved, because they're in a decision-making.
Sure.
And I think your board is very supportive, because
Oh,
they
yeah,
are
they
the
are.
ones that are part of that green energy task force.
Yes.
And so, I think they would, you know, work with us, so.
Yeah, they would. So I think I know at this point, I mean, it's like right now, I feel we're doing this dance and I'm looking at who's leading.
Yeah,
And I think, for us, it would be very helpful to have a meeting with the people involved
sure.
and let the board ask these pertinent questions that they're gonna have to defend
Let's do it.
to the rest of the community. So,
Let's do it, absolutely.
okay,
We'll arrange it.
how would that look?
That's the way to start. And I have to tell you that, you know, this committee's really gone really miles in the last year or so. When we first started out, we really had not much information about what we needed to do. But we've always heard that Little Cove was a place where we could learn. And then we had Ron Fair come, and I think other people that would come to Little Cove. And so we really got a lot of information from you guys. I went to a seminar about generators that I went with Chris.
And coordinated.
That's right, yeah, and so, you know, you have workshops,
Right,
great,
are we good?
we'd love to have workshops. you know, because it was well attended, it was very well done. And, you've been an example to us, and I think it's good that we can just go back and forth and learn from each other.
I
And
feel
we're very
like
open to that.
the power is here though. I
Mhm.
mean, we can definitely do our resilience thing, but when push comes to shove, we're not gonna be pushing people away from us
Right.
in need.
Right.
If
We
there's a
just,
place.
we just have to work together and communicate.
Yeah, I agree.
And, you know, just get on the same page and we'll work together.
The way this would work is you would wanna meet with city staff first. Hash out the details, then it gets presented to the council.
Okay.
And they're the ones who will make the ultimate decision about what that arrangement agreement would look like, you know what I mean?
Sure.
So when we get ready to cross our fingers, we get the grant, this isn't just you guys, I mean, they can, once we hash it out, they can bring it to you guys, but you're only ever gonna make a recommendation to the city council, so. But then what we would do is say, what does that look like? With Stonebridge, they said you can use the land, but they want a fence, they want signage, they want screening, all this. So we're gonna work out an agreement that says what, and it'll be the same thing of what you guys want. What, for us, where's the spot, what kind of arrangement do you want? Meaning, like, do you want it leased, do you want us to buy us, what do you want? And then what would that look like to you?
Okay. Alright,
So,
well then, who would I call to set up the meeting? You, okay, I will do that.
or Gina. She can give it me.
And then as that booking brought, there was a gentleman there from South Point who talked to me a little bit, so his cards in the stack.
Is that the guy in the middle? That was-
No, he was from the left,
Oh,
because
okay.
I went up back because he was so engaged.
I liked him.
I liked him too. That guy that was right here, middle of the thing, sitting right here.
Randy.
Oh, Randy Kohler.
Oh, Randy,
I
yeah, he was
like
nice,
Randy.
he was very well engaged. Another guy, when he walked in, and I said, where are you? And he says, I'm right in front of, I'm like, oh, you're in South Point, he goes, I don't think there's anybody else here. And that was his concern to me, like quietly. like,
There's one more.
There's
She showed up, her name was Loretta Moss, she was in South.
So that, and so see,
And
what
she's
would
in
be,
North Point.
when it comes
Where
to
does
putting
North
that.
North Point, sorry, you're right, never mind.
I
Forgive me.
had, no, so, there's the one South Point person, but that would, he was concerned about, so what about, where's the closest cash for our neighbor?
Yeah.
So see that, network, see that, you're right, that's exactly what I said, oh, other side of 101. And I said, yes, and so it would just be one of those times where we might be able to network, your phone tree with whatever's going on in
Right.
South Point, okay, would be expanding our.
Be like, oh, hey, yeah, we've got an overflow,
Right,
can you guys take them?
right, exactly.
Or bring us some more
So
food.
we did have one guy, so that's good, at least if we have a start, because there was just the one, so that's good. I don't know anybody in South Point.
Okay. I don't like people call your people.
Do you?
How's
A
that?
lot of people, oh, good, so then, once we get
She's
started.
there.
Once
She
we-
knows everybody, unless they're brand new, she knows them.
But then once we start trying like that, then
Yes.
I'm happy to do the.
I'm ready to get out walk the streets and get people.
Let's put this
Not
together.
teasing my pet Palooza.
Nice, cool. All right, great. Does
That
that
sounds
answer
right.
your question?
Yes.
So we're thrilled that you are interested, thank you.
The power is just as much in your court, because you guys gotta decide if you wanna provide us land, what that looks like to you, what that relationship will look like. It's all about what the relationship with the city looks like to you guys, and I'm sure we can work on that.
Yeah, I do too.
That sounds really good. Okay, thank you. Any other public comments on the,
Nobody's on the phone,
Nobody?
nobody's here, just
Where's
us.
our leader?
Oh, sorry.
I know, that was a good one. Okay, committee member comments, anybody? Chris?
Good meeting, excellent.
Thank you.
These are well run and great ideas and
Well, it seems like every meeting we have, we inch closer and closer to what we're trying to accomplish. So thank you very much for coming, you two, Ann, and meeting adjourned, thank you.
And the next one is June 15th.
I think the 24th.